Grief is a journey often walked in solitude, but it doesn't have to be. It's a voyage that takes us through the caverns of loss, into the valleys of despair, and eventually onto the peaks of acceptance and healing. Today, we're going to explore this journey, aiming to shed light on the path and offer a hand to those who are navigating grief's winding trails. So, sit back, open your hearts, and welcome to Navigating Through Grief, a guide for caregivers and family members. Grief is not linear. It's a journey that's as unique as the individual experiencing it, a path that winds and wanders through various stages. These stages, as identified by psychiatrist Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, are denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. Denial, the first stage, often serves as an emotional buffer, helping us to cope with the immediate shock of our loss. It's a stage where reality seems too overwhelming to face, and so we subconsciously choose not to. As the reality of loss seeps in, we may find ourselves in the anger stage, a tumultuous period where frustration and helplessness often rear their heads. Why did this happen? Who is to blame? It's a stage where pain often manifests as anger. Then comes bargaining, a stage filled with if only and what if questions. If only we had sought medical attention sooner. What if we had spent more time together? It's a stage of desperate attempts to negotiate away the pain. Depression follows when the full extent of the loss sinks in. It's a stage of intense sadness, isolation, and often a feeling of hopelessness. Finally comes acceptance, not an end point, but rather a stage where we learn to live with the loss. It doesn't mean the pain disappears, but rather we start to integrate it into our lives, finding a way to move forward. Each stage is a natural part of healing, a testament to our human capacity to adapt and survive in the face of profound loss. Now we share a deeply personal and touching story. It's a tale of loss and love, one that resonates with us all, yet remains unique and personal. To respect the privacy of the individual, we will keep their identity anonymous. Imagine, if you will, a day like any other, when out of the blue, a phone call shatters your world. Your spouse, your best friend, suddenly gone. Time seems to stop, and you find yourself adrift in a sea of disbelief and sorrow. The early days feel surreal, like you're moving through life as a ghost. The silence of the nights becomes deafening. You seek comfort in old letters and photographs, each one a bittersweet journey down memory lane. Your loved ones try to comfort you, but the depth of your loss feels impossible for them to grasp. It's only when you join a support group for caregivers that you find a space where your pain is understood, where your story resonates. Slowly, with time, through shared tears and shared experiences, you begin to find moments of peace. You take up journaling, each word penned down a small step towards healing. The journey is tumultuous, full of ups and downs, but you learn an important lesson. It's okay to not be okay. And in those moments of profound longing, when you miss them the most, you look up at the sky and feel a sense of connection. You know they're still with you, in heart, in spirit, in memories. This story, while unique in its details, echoes the universal experience of grief, the initial shock, the pain, the healing process, and the gradual rediscovery of hope. It serves as a poignant reminder that while the journey through grief is deeply personal, we are not alone in our experiences. Each of us navigates this journey in our own way, yet the shared experience of loss connects us, reminding us of our shared humanity. It reminds us that while the journey is personal, we are not alone in our experiences. Understanding grief from a medical viewpoint. It's essential to shed light on the profound effects that grief can have on our mental and physical well-being. When we grieve, our minds and bodies respond in ways that can be as unique as our own personal stories. On a mental level, grief can lead to a myriad of emotions, from profound sadness and anger to guilt and fear. It's not uncommon for those grieving to experience difficulty concentrating, insomnia, or even vivid dreams. These emotional and cognitive responses can be quite overwhelming, but are a normal part of the grieving process. Physically, grief can manifest in surprising ways. It may cause headaches, loss of appetite, physical fatigue, or even changes in immune response. It's not unusual to hear of grieving individuals feeling a literal ache in their hearts, a phenomenon known as broken heart syndrome. This shows how deeply intertwined our emotional and physical experiences can be. It's important to remember that grief is not a disorder. but a natural response to loss. It's a process, not a destination, and it looks different for everyone. Nonetheless, if the symptoms of grief become too intense or persist for an extended period of time, it may be indicative of a condition known as complicated grief or prolonged grief disorder. This is when professional help may be necessary. Grief's impact on mental and physical health. Understanding these effects is the first step towards compassionate support and self-care during this challenging journey. Discover coping strategies that can aid in the grieving process. Grief is a journey, a path often filled with twists and turns, and navigating through it can be challenging. But there are tools and strategies that can help us along the way. One such strategy is art therapy. Art has a unique way of allowing us to express our emotions, even those that are too complex or overwhelming for words. Whether it's through drawing, painting, or even sculpting, art can serve as a powerful outlet for the pain of loss. It gives us a tangible way to channel our grief and to create something meaningful out of our pain. Another coping strategy is journaling. The act of writing our thoughts and feelings can be therapeutic. It allows us to confront our emotions, to reflect on our experiences, and to track our journey through grief. A journal can serve as a safe space where we can be honest and raw, free from judgment or expectation. Physical activity, too, can be an effective coping strategy. Exercise releases endorphins, our body's natural mood boosters. A simple walk in the park, a yoga session, or a bike ride can help to clear the mind and reduce the intensity of grief-related stress. And let's not forget the power of community. Joining a support group can be immensely beneficial. In these groups, we find others who are walking a similar path, others who truly understand the depth of our loss. Within this community, we can share our stories, learn from others' experiences, and find comfort in the knowledge that we are not alone. Lastly, mindfulness and meditation can help us stay grounded in the present moment. These practices teach us to acknowledge our feelings without judgment, to accept our grief as a part of our experience, and to find peace amidst the pain. So whether it's through art, writing, exercise, community, or mindfulness, we can find ways to cope with our grief. Each person's journey is unique, so it's important to find what works best for you. Embrace a variety of coping strategies. They can serve as your compass, guiding you through the journey of grief towards healing and acceptance. When grief becomes overwhelming, professional help can make a difference. It's important to remember that reaching out is not a sign of weakness, but rather a step towards healing and understanding. There are many paths to navigate through the storm of grief, and professional guidance can help illuminate the way. One such path is therapy. Therapists can offer a safe, non-judgmental space to express emotions and explore feelings of loss. They can help individuals understand their grief, providing coping strategies and tools to handle the overwhelming waves of emotion. There's a range of therapeutic modalities, from cognitive behavioral therapy, which focuses on changing thought patterns, to grief-specific therapies, designed to guide individuals through their unique grieving process. Counseling, too, can be instrumental in the healing journey. Whether it's individual or group counseling, sharing experiences and feelings with others can provide a sense of community and understanding. It's a reminder that one is not alone in their grief. In group settings, hearing others' experiences can provide comfort and validation, while individual counseling can offer a more personalized approach to navigating through loss. In some cases, medication might be necessary. It's not a solution, but a tool that can help manage symptoms of grief, such as insomnia or depression, making the journey a bit more bearable. It's crucial to consult with a healthcare provider to discuss this option. Remember, the path through grief is not a solitary one. Seek professional help when necessary. Though the journey of grief is personal and unique, it's important to remember that we all traverse this path in our own ways. Today, we've explored the complexities of grief, its stages, and how it impacts us both mentally and physically. We've heard a deeply personal story that reminds us of the universality of love, loss, and the healing process. We've also delved into various coping strategies, from creative outlets to community support, and the importance of seeking professional help when grief becomes overwhelming. Remember, it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to reach out for help, to share your story, to cry, and to grieve. In your journey through grief, remember the power of compassion. for others, and for yourself. Seeking help, embracing support systems, and allowing yourself time to heal are vital steps on this path. In conclusion, remember you're not alone. The journey of grief is personal, but it doesn't need to be solitary. Reach out, seek help when it feels overwhelming. Find solace in sharing your story, in listening to others, in mutual understanding and support. Embrace the healing power of time, the catharsis of tears, and the strength found in community. And remember, it's okay to ask for help and take time to heal.